Hello, dear students. Today I am back to discuss with you the third and the last part of the story, The Blue Beet. So, till now we have read about the crocodile who was sitting at the bank of the river waiting for some creature to come that side so that it could hunt upon it. And secondly, we have read about Sibia, her poverty, and her daily routine, how she used to move about with her mother up the cliff to cut the paper grass in order to earn some money. And the last where we left was that Sibia was daydreaming and she was remembering her childhood days when she used to play, and sometimes she used to make those clay bowls which she had left in the caves behind this place where she was cutting the paper grass. And today she was in a mood to go and check whether those clay bowls have dried up. If they had been dried up, she was thinking of taking them home in order to paint it. Although she did not possess the painting material right now, but she was hoping for some good future days when she will be having that material and she will be able to paint with marigolds and elephants. So the mother and the other women, they all decided to return back as they had to see their animals and the evening meal. So all the women left and Sibia stayed back. The mother took it naturally that as all the days Sibia will be coming behind her, so she did not look back. And all the women, they all started moving down. So I am starting from page number 99, center. Although the women were now tired and loaded, they still talked. Those in front yelled to those behind. They crossed the river safely. How did they cross safely? By talking, by making noise, so that in case there is some creature hidden under the waters, because we have already read that noises frighten crocodiles. So they reached home silently. Silence fell. Sibia came down alone to the stepping stones. The light of the evening was striking up the gorge, pink into the ultraviolet shadows. Now that the sun was off it, so the sun had already set, almost set. The waters poured almost invisible among the stones with no reflection to show where it began. So it was almost dusk. So nothing could be perceived or seen clearly through the waters. Sibia stepped onto the first stone. So she is coming down. She was heavily weighted, her muscles stretched and aching. Why is she heavily weighted? So she is tired, then she is carrying the hay fork, then she is carrying the sickle and a lot of paper grass which she had cut. When she was halfway over, she put her load down on a big boulder to rest and leaned, breathing on the fork. So when she had come halfway down the cliff, there was a big boulder. What are boulders? Big stones, big logs of boards, big stones. So she decided to take rest on one of the boulders. She sat there. Turn the page. At the same moment, a Gujjar woman came down with two ghadas to the water on the other side in order to get the good clean water. Now she came, the Gujjar woman. You remember we started about the Gujjar woman. They were living on one side of the cliff. So one of the ladies of that Gujjar group, she came and she wanted to fetch clear water. And in order to fetch clear water, she came a little inner to the river, which would quickly fill both ghadas to the top without sand. She wanted clear water without sand. So she walked on to the stepping stones. She was within a yard of the crocodile when he lunged at her. So lunged is a sudden forward rush. He grabbed the leg of the Gujjar woman. The crocodile, just see his patience. He has been sitting there right from the morning when the sun rose, and now the sun has almost set and it got the opportunity. It just grabbed the leg of the Gujjar woman. Up out of the darkling water heaved the great reptile, water slushing off him, his livid jaws yawning and all his teeth flashing as he slashed at her leg. So look at the words used by the author in order to describe the grabbing movement of the crocodile. The woman screamed, dropped both brass pots with a clatter on the boulder, from whence they bounced to the water. Naturally, the Gujar woman got afraid. What happened? And at the same time, both the ghadas, it just went from her hand and bounced to the water. And because the ghadas were empty, they were light weighted, they just sank into the water and flew away. Oh, the two good vessels gone. So these words have been put under italics. What does it mean? That Sibia was so poor that at the first thought which came into her mind was that the two ghadas have gone, although they were not very expensive. The Gujjar woman recoiled from the crocodile, put his jaws closed on her leg at the same moment, and she slipped and fell on the bone-breaking stone and clutched one of the timber logs to save herself. So the Gujjar woman, she lost control over herself. She fell down. The leg was in the hold of the crocodile. So when she fell down, she took support of a big log of wood which was in the water only. She just caught hold of that log of wood so that she could maintain some kind of balance. The log jammed between two boulders with the woman clinging to it and screaming. So the woman caught hold of that log of wood with a very strong hold. So because if she leaves that log of wood at this moment, the entire body will be just caught hold by the crocodile. The crocodile pulled on her leg, threshing his mighty tail, bang, bang, to and fro in great smacking flails as he tried to drag her free and carry her off. So when he was trying to capture the leg with his strong jaws, at the same time the whole body of the crocodile was also moving, and the strong mighty tail also flipped from one side to other. And when the tail was flipping, the water was rising in the splashes of water rose in the river. Blood spread everywhere. So there was a deep wound in the lady's leg as the jaws, the teeth had penetrated deep into the leg of the Gujjar woman. Sibia sprang. So at that moment, Sibia just got up. From boulder to boulder, she came leaping like a rock goat. So she came jumping, running very fast like a rock goat. So the author has used a simile over here. She came as fast as a rock goat. Sometimes it had seemed difficult to cross those stones. In normal days, she found it very difficult and she used to cross these stones with great caution. But today, caution was not the word because she wanted to save the Gujjar woman. To cross these stones, especially the big gap in the middle where the river goes through like a bulge of glass. But now she came on wings, choosing her footing in the mid-air. But today she was not at all cautious that she might fall down. She came on wings. Show that directly the comparison is direct. So now the author has used a metaphor over here that now she came on wings. In the boiling bloody water, the face of the crocodile fastened around her leg was tugging to and fro and smiling. So at this moment, the hero is the crocodile because it has got complete hold of the Gujjar woman. And he knows that nobody can at right now help the Gujjar woman from his claws. His eyes rolled onto Sibia and suddenly he saw Sibia over there. One slap of the tail could kill her. He struck. So you remember the tail was moving this from one side to other, and Sibia also knew that there is lot of power in the tail of the crocodile. If it hits her, even she will be gone. But she did not get scared. Up shot the water 20 feet and fell like a silver chain. So when the tail was moving from one side to other, the water shot up till 20 feet high like a silver chain. Again, the word like has been used compared with a silver chain. So this is, which literary device is used here? This is a simile. But in the daily heroism of the jungle, as common as a thorn tree, Sibia did not hesitate. She aimed at the reptile's eyes. So remember, we had read in the first part of the story when I discussed it that the soft corner of the crocodile is the eyes or the underarms. So Sebia, being a forest girl, somewhere the author has used the word child woman for her. Why child woman? Because she is a child. She's just a 12 years old, but she is doing all the mature works, helping her mother every time. So she has been called as a child woman. And this child woman knew very well that in order to save that Gujjar woman, she has to hit at the right place. So she just took her hay fork which she was carrying and she aimed at the crocodile's eye. With all the force of her little body, she drove the hay fork at the eyes, and at one prong went in right in, while its spears crashed past the horny cheek. You remember I told you the hay fork has two prongs, 2 points. So one point went straight into the eye of the crocodile, and the other point, it scratched the cheek of the crocodile. The crocodile reared up in convulsion, deep pain, because the crocodile was hit right into the eye, till half his lizard body was out of the river, the tail and nose nearly meeting over his stony back. Then he crashed back, exploding the water, and in an uproar of bloody foam, he disappeared. He could not do because he was paining like anything, and in that extreme pain, he let off the Gujjar woman, and slowly he disappeared back into the water so that he could save itself. He would die. Not yet. So now in this paragraph, the author has also discussed about the death of the crocodile. He says, the author says that the crocodile will die, but it will not be an immediate death. But presently, though his death would not be known for days, not till his stomach blown with gas floated him. It will take days when he will be not able to eat anything, and the gas which will be produced in his stomach, it will act as poison. Then perhaps he would be found upside down among the logs at the timber boom with pus in his eye. That will be his death. It will take a few days. Now what was Sebia's immediate concern? To save the Gujjar woman. She is lying there. Sebia got her arms round the fainting woman and somehow dragged her from water. She stopped her wounds with sand. So these forest people know the first aid. What did she do? She picked up the sand from the bank of the river, and she applied that sand over her leg and bound them with a rag, and she might have torn a little rag from her own cloth. With that rag she tied the wound and helped her home to the Gujjar, and she tried to drag her because she could not pick that mature woman. She dragged her and took her till the camp, where the Gujjar men, they made a little stretcher, a litter, to carry her to for some treatment. So this is how Sebia killed the mighty crocodile, that same mighty crocodile about whom the author has discussed the first 2 pages of the lesson. It is really not very easy to kill a crocodile. Now Sebia came back because she wanted to take back her hay fork, her sickle and her paper grass. The fork was lying in the water. The hay fork with which she tried to kill the crocodile, that was lying in the water. Thankfully, it had not rushed into the water. She saw, and when she bent down to pick up that hay fork, she saw the blue bead. Remember the last line of the 2nd page of the story, there was a blue bead lying over there. Not blue now. The blue color was not clearly visible. Why? Because the sun had already gone. But a no color white blue, and its shape wobbling in the movement. So due to the refraction of that, at that time she could not even locate the blue. She bent down to pick up that bead, but she missed from the first chance, and then she caught hold of the bead and took her along with her. Then there it lay in her wet palm, perfect, even pierced. Then there it lay in her wet palm, perfect, even pierced, ready for use. So what was the good luck that day for Sebia? First, so she killed some mighty crocodile, and the other thing was that bead which she picked up, it was already pierced. You remember, the family needle had been broken, and if she takes any bead, it needs to be pierced from the center. But this bead was already pierced. That means it was ready to use. She did not require any needle to make a necklace. All her heart went up in flames of joy. After a bit, she twisted it. Now, what she did was she took that bead and kept it somewhere on the upper part of her stomach, upper part of the skirt which she was wearing next to her stomach, so that in case when she returns back and the bead falls down, the sound of falling down will notify her that the bead has fallen down and she can pick it back because she does not want to lose that bead. Then she picked her fork and sickle and the heavy grass and set off home. What a day. So what does this line exclamatory sentence says? What a day means she is very much happy, thrilled because she has got her dream come true. And what was her dream? To get a bead to make a necklace. Her bare feet smudged out the wriggle mark of snakes in the dust. There was a thin singing of malaria mosquito. This is a return journey. When she returned on that back way through the way through which she was going through towards her home, there were the footsteps of the wriggle marks of snakes. Then that was the place with the thin singing of malaria mosquitoes among the trees. And this track was used at night by a morose old Makhna elephant, one of the kinds of the elephant. So it was not an easy passage back home. Remember, it is a forest. There is always these animals, wild animals, can anytime come and hunt for people. So it was not a safe place to travel during the night time, but Sibia was not thinking of any of these things. She was deeply thrilled because she had got the blue bead which she wanted. On the way back, she met her mother, out of breath, come to look for her. Now the mother was at home and the night time had arrived, so she was really worried. Where was Sibia left? I did not see till I was home that you were not there. I thought something must have happened to you. And Sibia, bursting with the story, cried, something did. So mother says, I was really worried that something must have happened to you. And what is the reply of the Sibia? Sibia says, yes, something did happen. What happened? I found a blue bead for my necklace. Look. So that was the reply of Sibia, and it tells that for Sibia, the heroic, had it been you or I at that place, what would have been my first reaction to my parents or your parents? That I have killed a mighty crocodile. But for that forest girl, that was an everyday routine affair. What was her dream come true is that she has found a blue bead and she has realized her dream. The poverty-stricken Sibia has realized her dream and she has got a blue bead and she can make a necklace. So I hope you have understood the story. The moral of the story is that anybody can be a hero. You don't need special moments or special times or something to show your bravery, to show your courage, to show your intent of mind. And the best example for this is that anybody can be hero are the modern times, this present day, when the whole world is suffering from coronavirus. So all the people around us, the doctors, the nurses, the police people, the army people, the vegetable vendors, the medicine people, they are all heroes these days because they are coming out to help us in these extraordinary situations, and they are trying to help us because we have been asked to stay home, to stay safe. Please read the lesson and try to solve the workbook. Bye-bye.